Do you want to win CM5? Because let me tell you, brother, I won CM3, 61% win rate in Group A, and I can tell you just how the fuck to win CM5, because there's a lot of things that we can learn from this one. It's mostly the same. First, let me just go over my build. My comp's fucking great, and I'm about to tell you why. So I got vodka here. This is a bit of an atypical vodka. Where's the power? Why is it 922? What's going on with the guts? This is a guts vodka build? Why? Because I get On Your Left off of SSR winning ticket, the guts card that you probably never fucking thought about. And we have not that much mid-game, but we have a very large amount of end-game velocity. Mile straightaways double circle, late surger straightaways double circle, triumphant pulse, and cut and drive. And if those all trigger on the end, that can fill a huge gap. And obviously, mile straightaways and late surger straightaways can also trigger on the start. But at that position, there's also a very good chance that it can push her forward enough to lock her into about 6th place during position keep. That's something that's happened to me decently often. Standard distance makes up the slightly low stam. This does live. This does consistently live. The only time I've seen it die is getting nice-natured, and fucking no one runs that, let's be real. And then, yeah, we got our acceleration suite of Pump, On Your Left, Furious Feet. Better acceleration than other vodkas. And you might say, oh, well, you know, isn't this kind of just Grass Wonder but worse? No! Cut and drive is huge. Grass's ult keeps getting wasted because you get one overtake and then all of a sudden, oh no, it popped. Well, you're still accelerating. Cut and drive hits when it matters. It's better. And then, let's go back. I got my Pace Ogre, which is very unconventional. Look at that stat line, though. I'll explain how I got that later, or if you already know the solo key to tech, you know you know. This has an insane mid-game stat line. 1068 power, 747 wit. Even though her skills suck, I got no hints. Look, I don't want to run corner acceleration, but I had to. I didn't have anything else to take. Even though her skills aren't great, her mid-game is generally fantastic, which you'll see in this replay. I'm using Gourmands to make up the missing stam. And then otherwise, I'll explain your game plan as I get into the match, but generally it's Bulldog through the mid-game, and then, well, my blocker comes in, start raw dogging acceleration, because she has no accel, by the way. Corner accel is not real acceleration. Doesn't hit on the acceleration zone, like, barely ever. She will slowly push forward while the fronts are blocked, and the lates are either not whiffing their acceleration or sniffing front ass. Pop Triumphant Pulse off my Bakushin, and then just win off that. She's essentially the default winner of the lobby in a case where there is no late that high rolls, which has worked out very, very well for me in the actual CM. Then we look at my Bakushin. I've got my 3 green skills for groundwork. I got Leader's Pride, which is huge for locking in that first place before position keep ends. And then I've got some mid-game skills within corner adat, front runner corners, front straights for locking in that position before position keep ends. Unrestrained is here because I had nothing else. Don't fucking take it on your blockers, but it does matter sometimes, because sometimes it gives her a huge lead on the last corner, which makes Ogre more consistent with proccing Triumphant Pulse when no one else is ahead of her. Very minor advantage, but it is a notable advantage. Going into the rest of my lobby, we got this guy who's built a pretty scary Ryan. He's got not that much excel besides Unique Pump, but also if you hit Unique Pump, you just kind of win the game anyways. Great stat line, looking good. We got a vodka that's also pretty scary looking, though these don't have Mile A, nothing crazy. I mean, these have Mile A, no Mile S. We look at the skills, yeah, we got the standard acceleration, we got the mid-game suite, we got the Teo step for some reason. But yeah, pretty standard gambling late vodka. And then we got an air group, this guy's a baller, and he hits 2 S's on it too, which is kind of crazy. But also, I don't know what he's doing with the skills. I think he probably just didn't get good hints or something, because from the vodka, he clearly knows how much acceleration matters. But I don't fucking know, man. It's not my life. We go over to the other guy. We got a fucking Smaru in the lobby. This guy is basically just running 3 low IQ fronts, which is not great. And you'll see how my blocker beats the shit out of them as we go into the race right now. Because, yeah, the whole thing behind my strategy is I want to block the front, and then my Ogre automatically wins unless a late high rolls. And my Vodka can absolutely fucking high roll because she has 2 gold gambling skills. We see my Bakushin is behind. She hits groundwork. But because of her big stat diff over the other fronts, she's still going to be bulldogging her way into front over here. She's catching up to Silent Suzuka without a single skill. Just, that's all pure overtake. Just pure power, pure wit. Brock's front runner straightaways to hold that lead, but she honestly didn't even need it. We see Vodka holding 7th. She's not going to be hitting pump here. Ogre is starting to move through the front pack, though. She's overtaking Smaru to get into 4th, and you're going to see that she's going to continue climbing here. Vodka here, I'm mainly just hoping on hitting good acceleration skills, because I don't have the consistency of pump, since there's only 3 total backliners in the room. Ogre's going to keep pushing. I believe she manages to get the overtake into 3rd here as well. And then, yeah, that Understrain is basically wasted. Yeah, Ogre hits Shadow Break to push to 3rd, denying Plancha for Saiyan Sky, and we get the Furious Feet on Vodka. Open lane right here. Open lane. So she starts surging ahead. Note, importantly, how Bakushin is still ahead of Ogre. So Ogre is going to have the chance here to proc Triumphant Pulse, which is going to put her insanely far. It doesn't feel like she will, but she's going to cover a ton of distance right now. And she's going to be very competitive with Vodka at the end here. Look at that. So this CM, even if I didn't hit the Furious Feet tie roll on Vodka, I would have still won. Because Pace Ogre is very consistent in the case where no one high rolls, which happens decently often. Because let's be real, if you built lates for CM3, you've seen the lobbies where nothing's hitting. That's not a non-factor. That's really fucking relevant. And pace is real. Pace is very, very real. That's how I won mine. I'm going to tell you how I did my builds, too. Because I'm running... Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let me get out of here. Pull up my runner history. Because, yeah, for Vodka, I ran a grass for, like, 10 races before I'm just like, fuck it. We're getting Ogre in here. Ogre's a lot better. Yeah, my Vodka, Mile S, of course, mandatory. I'm running 2 Guts cards. I ultimately found that running more than that was kind of counterproductive. You could probably go less speed cards than this, but this worked out for me just fine. 534 wit is a stat line I'm comfortable with. I like having a decent amount of wit even on lates to help fight for position, especially given how important pump can be, because that can easily decide games. Especially because I didn't really have any mid game on her besides Prof. Oh, she doesn't even have Prof. Holy shit. Yeah, I had nothing on her. But yeah, that's why I value Wit so highly, that her power wasn't great compared to other late, so wasn't super relevant at the end, except for being more consistent on her acceleration, which is still something that matters, but you know. But yeah, winning ticket here is relevant as a card because she gives Furious Feet. Her stats kind of fucking suck, so you take a bit of a stat hit by including her, and if you have to borrow her, don't ever do it. But for CM5, if you're trying to think about, oh, I want to run lates again, consider Guts Vodka. If you have winning ticket and don't have to borrow her, consider Guts Vodka, because that second gold skill is so huge. You just gotta hit one of these motherfuckers at the start and you can win the game off that. I started the acceleration zone and you can just straight up win the game off that. Because, let's be real, Slick Surge not as big of a difference as on your left being double the acceleration. I know it's slightly worse than Furious Feet, lower duration, but I think that this is what I'm gonna run in CM5 over another Grass Wonder or a normal Vodka, because I value those 2 golds so highly, and especially with Alharu coming on, I can definitely also cap power. I'm gonna be fucking fine on that. I'm just gonna slam in Rico and then just crank the fuck out of my actually relevant stats. It's gonna be fucking sick, dog. But yeah, Cut and Drive as a late game velocity ult's huge. Triumphant Pulse. These two put together will win you so many games. They'll win you so much more than you think. Late game velocity is massive. Calc that shit if you want to know. And then yeah, Ogre. Look at this fucking deck, dog. Look at this fucking deck. 3 wit cards, 2 power, and then Kita. This is not ideal. I should have probably also tried out Agnes Digital, because that's a 10% TE card, versus this having, I believe, 0% TE. Power bonus is relevant for getting power up on Speed Train with Kita. But yeah, ultimately, for this kind of stuff, stack as much TE as you can. That's your #1 priority. I had to take SSR Dober for the race bonus, but, like, ideally, you won't have to. I hope you have better cards than me, but this is still so fucking jacked, even with my cards, because I made the decision to scoop Stam. and pick Gourmand to pump more stats into power and wit. And then, yeah, my blocker, I don't have that much to talk about, but yes, as for overall takeaways, consider the value of gold excels on your late surgers. Consider the fact that you're going to have to high roll on a late surger. So you could fight for position in the mid game, you could overshoot pump, if you go too far and get out of your acceleration range. I just want to go for the high roll, and Guts Vodka is what I found that can give me the highest rolls. And then for the mid rolls, when the lobby's mid rolling, Ogre will fight it. Because realistically, if someone else in the lobby high rolls, you just have to out high roll them as your own late surger, which is what my Vodka is built to do, with all of this late game velocity, late game excel. That's all she does, and she does it very fucking well. And then if no one else high rolls, Vodka doesn't need to compete, because Ogre will just win. She will just raw excel, proc Triumphant Pulse, and win. And also, if you're worried about CM5 trying to apply some of this stuff over there, because, oh no, what if blockers don't work on S-Maru? In my testing so far, I've been running S-Maru blocker against Ace Bakushin, and what happens is Ace Bakushin will lock in the lead, and then when S-Maru goes to overtake her with her ult, she'll accidentally, or not accidentally, this is just how it works, she'll trigger Bakushin's ult during the overtake. The real scary situation for S-Maru is in situations where she can either get speed carryover off of her ult into the acceleration zone, which does not apply for CM5, or if she can try to overtake on a straight, because overtaking on a straight is so much easier. In that situation, you're probably cooked. But if we look at the Hanshin 1600 meter course, pull that up on your own end, I'm not fucking doing that shit, we're going to see that the overtake is once again on a corner after position keybacks. So I think a Blockshin could still work, and if not, I know some people on VF Core that have been testing Blocker Daiwa to great success, mainly one guy, shout out Justice. But yeah, I'm going to be running a very similar comp to this in CM5, and I think there's decent value for anyone to run something like this, especially this Ogre is super budget friendly. Like, I'm borrowing Kita, dude. I'm borrowing Kita and I'm running fucking SSR Dober. If you're broke in this game, if you don't have that Uma money up, this is a great fucking build, dude. This is a fantastic build. And then, yeah, also, yeah, besides that, the other thing that I'm thinking about testing is Pace Karen, because Karen can also match a Rod Grab as a pace chaser by hitting her ult and getting speed carryover, or hitting it just late enough to where she can still get the acceleration in the acceleration zone. That I'm still testing though, but all I'm saying is for CM5, people were saying all fucking day pace sucks. I think there are ways to make it work. I'm not going to go and say it's better than front. I'm not going to go and even say it's better than late. But I think it's a viable strategy that you should be considering for the next CM. And hey, brother, it won me this one, so let's fucking go.